Welcome. So what is the purpose of these videos? The purpose is to prove that one good trading strategy will appear over and over again in the markets. But to have three that appear over and over again, that's more than anyone can ask for. It's more trading opportunities than you can imagine. Let me continue to prove this to you. Then you can continue to prove it to yourself. And then you will be amazingly successful. Now let's go into the lesson. For today's lesson, I thought it would be good if we just went through our stocks, currencies, and commodities and reminded you how to look at the charts, what to look at first, and then what action we should take afterwards. Remembering that we should always look down here first. Now, do we see any reason that there should be any MACD divergence? Is the MACD set up in any way? No. Then we move on. So that was Apple. Take a look at the Aussie Swiss. Anything down here that indicate to us that there's trading strategy number one? On the daily chart there is. And you'll notice that the MACD was higher. It didn't cross the center line. Now it's lower. And now we can just look up and say, hey, does the price action match that? Price was higher, MACD was lower, price went a little bit higher. So it was higher than this point here. We have a valid instance of trading strategy number one on the Aussie Swiss daily chart. And there's still time to use our entry strategy that we teach you to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. On the Aussie Kiwi, do we have anything down here that looks like trading strategy number one on any time frame? No, we don't. We move on. Aussie dollar. Do we have anything on the 2 hour? No. On the 8 hour? No. On the daily? Yes. We have trading strategy number one. And now you can see we have trading strategy number one. Price went to this high. MACD was here. Price went even higher. MACD was lower. And you still have the ability to enter this trade based on the tools that we have taught you to use to enter trades. And the Aussie dollar being at a point where maybe it's going to retrace back up, maybe retest the highs or break lower hard. It's at a pretty critical juncture at this point. So now let's take a look at the Dow. Do we have trading strategy number one here on the 2 hour? Yes, we do. 8 hour, no. On the daily chart at this point, we have to say yes. So let's take a look here. Remember, trading strategy number one is what? It's retracement. And so we have to always make sure we use our tools to get into the trade properly to help confirm our entry as well as put in protective stops. Now we can see on trading strategy number one here on the 2 hour. Do we have an entry for that yet? We have no entry triggered for that. It's a valid setup though. On the daily chart, price went to this high, MACD went here. Price went even higher, the MACD is lower. Now the key is, even though we see this smaller hump right here in the MACD overall stayed above the center line, right? It stayed above the center line. So that means that this higher move with so far a lower MACD movement means a weakening in this overall trend. So we have an upward trend, retracement. It's saying there's weakness associated at this point with this move right here. We've had lots of trading strategy number twos in the Dow with these trends. It's been amazing. If you remember in the lessons, if you've advanced to that portion, this is seeing the trade set up, right? Seeing the price move to a higher high, MACD not following it. That's seeing it develop. It's not fully set up yet. It's developing. This is a trade that's completely set up. Here it is developing. Here it is on this chart set up. But on this chart, on the 2 hour, we're waiting for the trigger into the trade. Because remember, just because you see a valid setup doesn't mean you just jump in the market, especially with trading strategy number one, because it goes against the trend. Let's jump down, take a look at the euro yen. Do we have a trading strategy number one here on the 2 hour? Yes, we do. The MACD did not cross over that center line. Prices moved higher. MACD is lower still at this point. Valid trading strategy number 1. Nothing on the 8-hour. And as we can see here, this is tricky, a little different than the chart that we just looked at. And that's why we want to look at that in this lesson. Price went high, big high in the MACD. Price is higher, MACD is lower. Is this a valid instance of trading strategy number 1? The answer is no. Why? Because the MACD crossed over the center line. That invalidated this trend. It said price was in an uptrend as long as it was above. It then went down over the center line, thus initiating a possible downtrend, and then reinitiated an uptrend. It's important that you get that difference. Because the MACD crossed over the center line, and as you can see here for a significant period of time, that makes what we see on this daily chart on the euro yen not a valid trade instance of trading strategy number 1. We must look at it firmly like that. And sometimes we see higher highs, lower lows on the MACD. Oh, we have divergence. We're not looking for this. Please pay attention to that. Let's take a look at oil, because oil had a really ugly, I call it ugly, it's really pointy, instance of trading strategy number 1. Did price move higher? Yes. Did the MACD move lower? Yes. Did we get a trigger into this trade entry? Not yet. But there's a valid instance of it for bearish MACD divergence on the 2-hour. There's nothing on the 8-hour, and there's nothing on the daily. But I wanted to highlight it, and that's why these trading lessons in the live market are really important. The trading strategy always has the same rules, right? Price is moving to a higher high in this instance with trading strategy number 1. MACD is moving to a lower low, and then we're looking for an entry. But it looks different. It never looks the same all the time. And so it's just that repetition, right? Repetition is the mother of retention, the grandmother of success, of doing this review and having these reminders that keep it in your mind, it being the rules of the trading strategy, so you make less and less mistakes. And it's also to give you the confidence. In the lessons, we look at over 50 years of data. And a lot of people think, well, I wonder if this still works in the real market. Here it is in the lessons as we present to you. So go through the rest of the charts on your own. Look for some instances. Do you see trading strategy number 1? As time goes on, it will become clearer and clearer to you how we can quickly move through the charts like we do. And that's how you will be doing your trading analysis every day. You learn now for 10 minutes a day, and in the future, spending possibly no more than 60 minutes a day trading for real the rest of your life. It's a great deal. A little bit of time now, a little bit of time later, lots of freedom. So thanks for spending some time in this session with me, and I'll see you in tomorrow's lesson. So do we have to trade everything, for example, like we looked at today? No, just follow a few things. Following just a few markets using 3 different strategies will keep you focused and free. You will never lack for opportunities in the market knowing all 3 strategies. When we do find a trade opportunity, what do? We prepare for it. How do we prepare for it? How are we going to enter? How are we going to exit? Have we prepared for both sides of the trade? We will never have to do more than answer the questions for those things the rest of our lives. How cool is that? Well, that's going to bring this session to a wrap. But do me a favor and do a lot of other people a favor. Help us change the way the world learns to trade and understand the financial markets. Let's simplify it down to just a few things we need to know to follow to be able to make money and protect our capital. If you haven't already, please visit our Facebook page and give us a like there. Search for our channel on YouTube, Train Your Brain Trading, and watch for the continuous content we continue to put there. Thanks for spending some time in this session with me today. And if you can, promote these materials so that together we can change the way the world trades.